Dmitri Sitkowetzki und die St. Petersburger Philharmoniker spielten das Violinkonzert Nummer 1 A-Moll Opus 99 von Dmitri Schostakowitsch. Hier in Bonn in der Beethovenhalle beginnt jetzt die Konzertpause, die eine knappe halbe Stunde dauern wird. Für Sie, meine Damen und Herren, spielt in der Zwischenzeit Sviatoslav Richter die Sonate Nummer 18 S-Dur, Opus 31 Nummer 3 für Klavier von Ludwig van Beethoven.
Finally, when we get it right, maybe we could get a gig at the local club. And again, Jules? Good one. Good job, Jules.
I happen to be born into a very musical family. I think I'm the fourth generation of professional musicians on one side. And I really did not have any choice but to become a musician, because I heard music while I was still in my mother's womb, and apparently been on stage in that position several times before I was even born. And of course I heard music. I heard my father, I heard my mother, heard my aunt, my uncle. They were all musicians. So that helped, of course, to make the most favorable environment for a child to grow up.
around Dima was music, music, music all day, all day. I was teacher at Moscow Conservatory 16 years. I played radio, TV, records, many music, and we spoke in home about my student, about very good musician, about performance. Yes, this atmosphere was with music,
Well, my father was a very famous Russian violinist, Soviet violinist at that time. And unfortunately, he had cancer before he was 32 years old, and he died a year after. So his life was cut short while I was still, 3.5. So it fell on to my mother's shoulders to carry on, just the well-being of the family, just bringing bread home. I really hardly saw her while I was growing up, because she was that figure that appeared occasionally in the house, from concert tours, and she would storm in for a few days and then disappear.
Life is life, and I was musician. I must play and bring money for life. And long time Dima was only with Nanny, only with Nanny. I come back, I was in home maybe 2 or 3 days, and sometimes Dima explained, oh, it's long time, Mama will be in home 3 days. Yes, but it was very good. He don't miss Mama. No.
She was basically on the road. I grew up with Nanny, who became really more of a mother to me in those years than my mother. I had, fortunately, other relatives. My uncle, first and foremost. My cousin Sasha, who was practically my age, so we had a lot of games in common growing up. So the two of us would always travel where my uncle would go. For a number of years, we would go to the Baltic Sea, to the summer resort near Riga, and be there for the summer season of the Moscow Philharmonic. Sometimes my mom would come here to perform.
Yeah, I remember that.
With the orchestra, but then she'd leave because that month of the year she'd lend me to my uncle.
To a relative,
Yeah. But in a way, it was not really sad not to be with my own family, but it was fun to be with other kids and to spend the time without the eye of the mother.
As a young boy, I started to play violin. I had to because of the whole history of my family, and I played violin until the age of, I think, 11, something like that. Then I just quit, and then I picked up my first guitar at the age of 15. When I grew up, my first and the major influence was Beatles. Beatles and British bands of that time. Then a little bit later, Led Zeppelin, my favorite, still one of my favorite bands. But it all depended on what kind of access to the Western, music you have. Because in my case, my father, who is a professional, viola player, he used to tour all over the world. So I always asked him to bring me the new records. So I was always aware what's going on. But it was, not really available for the majority of the youngsters at that time.
Coming back here to this beautiful Latvian resort after almost 20 years, now in 1992, leaves me rather sad. All the great Russian musicians that came here to perform are gone, and the wonderful concert hall is practically deserted.
That extraordinary family, which so often happens in Russia, where the tradition of father to son, still, the hereditary system survived under the communists even more than under the Tsars, because they kept the species separated. All the violinists were together, all the pianists, etc. They didn't want any intercommunication. So the result is that you have this extraordinary family which bridges all gaps.
Had my father lived, I don't think I would have become a violinist. I don't think there would have been a need for it, because it was really more than anything else, it was filling the void in the family tradition.
I remember the name of Julian Sitkowiecki very well. I was a small boy in the Central Music School of Moscow, and his name was a legendary name at that time. He probably was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years older than I was, but he studied in the same school. He had a tremendous reputation as a kind of a devilish, magnetic virtuoso. I think I heard him probably in the school concerts, and I certainly heard some of his records. And I remember seeing him here and there, but you know, when you look at the legend, I hardly said hello to him. He was just kind of a god at that time. Yes, the reputation was quite extraordinary.
When I first went to the Central Music School, which was and still is rather unique, because they take you at the age of 6 or 7 and they put you through a very rigorous system of exercises, you know, scales, arpeggios, all the etudes, you know, you had to go through 1 to 42 of Kreutzer and Rode and Mazas and what have you, you know, until you get to Paganini or anything like that. So it was the best possible early musical training.
Выражать мысли можно не только словами, но это требует большого умения. Здесь, в Московской государственной консерватории, наставник...
Very, very good. Now, in this middle section, maybe you could give a little bit more variety of colors, yes? Because those scales, they sort of sound similar. So within the scale, maybe you could do some interesting variations of dynamics and maybe watch how you distribute the bow, yes? How you, for instance, like a cadenza between those two, which is like the bells, and you have to be strict in time. Here's more cadenza-like, so it has to be more improvisatory.